Hey guys, I'm 60 bajillion videos behind on buying Reforged every day, but I don't care. We're going to make a different video today. What we're going to do is somebody wants to make, they want to make a 5th race in the game. And they were saying how to do this, and like, they were making it really hard, and it's ridiculous. Okay. What are we on? Tech Tree Contest 13? Let's get them. Alright, Tech Tree oh, there, that's the theme discussion. Let's get the real one here. Okay. Tech Tree Contest. So you go to the end of this, and it seemed like right near the end there's talking about he made it that when you select all the units they become the other units or something. That's all crazy. So I don't think we need to do that. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to make from scratch this stuff. How to make a tech tree from scratch, right? Surely it can't be. It shouldn't be hard. It should be a 10-minute job. Okay, we'll get it done in 10 minutes on it. We're going to use Redditor Model Studio. You'd think at first maybe you don't need a Model Studio, but this is going to serve as our extractor system for some of this stuff. So we just download this. We're going to get it done in 10 minutes on it. Okay, that's what we're going to do. 10 minutes on it. That's what we got to do. That's what we will do. So basically, you just go to this program. You get it to go in the show and folder. They probably don't want to show it to you, but you're gonna get it anyway. There you go. Now that we have this thing, basically you just double click this and you run it, and it'll give you a GUI that allows you to view game data. So what we want to do is we want to make a custom race. So in order to do that, go in Warcraft mod scripts and just get yourself blizzard.j, which is the game's main script libraries, right? We're going to put this in some Warcraft folder of your choice. Let's make a new folder for me called Custom Races. That's going to be where I'm going to put this. So we're going to save it into that folder. Now we should be able to basically just navigate back to that folder. Warcraft 3 Custom Races, which is in scripts. I mean, you just put it wherever, right? I'm just making a place for me to store stuff. So the most important thing is we're going to actually put this in a map, and that's kind of why we want to have this tech tree contest also, is if you go to the beginning, to the front page, you should be able to download the sample map as an example here. So Typhoon, here we go. We're going to download this map just as soon as they let us. Hopefully they will let us. I'm just getting a blank page right now. Okay, looks like we're gonna have to use Booty Bay because, you know, do what you will. Just need something that works. I don't know what they're doing here. Oh no, they give us the map. Okay, great. So go to Documents, Warcraft, Maps, Altered Melee. Let's make a folder, TC13. That's a good folder, right? So you go to your TC13 folder basically, and we're just gonna open this map. Altered Melee, TC13. The point I'm trying to make, and we just be straightforward with this, right? So let's try to make our example something that's already there, so it's easy. So obviously this is not really a great example, but let's say we wanted to do Corrupted Night Elves, because those are pretty much already in here, right? Those are always a really easy case. Looks like NCTL is their town center. And we'll make a Wisp copy duplicate guy called Corrupted Wisp, right? So, and we'll have him build NCTL, Corrupted Tree of Life, something like that. There's probably also Corrupted Moonwell, but I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So he builds Corrupted Tree of Life, Corrupted Moonwell, something like that, right? So that's your this E00, and the other one's NCTL. I guess actually if you want to be really nice, you could do Corrupted Wisp, NCWS, and because that path is not already used, we can be sure that we make an NCWS and get rid of the other one. This is not very important. I mean, we're just picking a unit ID, right? It could be anything. It doesn't matter. So now we know that we're going to be using NCWS and NCTL, so that's great. That solves the question of unit IDs. So the next thing that you want to do is pretty much just go to your Blizzard J file here. Ignore this other thing. Or really any of this other stuff. What is all this? Just ignore that. Okay. This is the main file for all the melee starting units. So you can find melee starting units Night Elf, and you can replicate this into like your map or even inside of Blizzard J. And you can say, okay, we're just going to have a fifth option in terms of how the races of the actual game work, right? This is just extracted directly out of the 131 client. So instead of melee starter units Night Elf, we're going to make melee starter units Corrupted Night Elf. And what you can do in here, right, E-Wisp is the Wisp, and CWS is the Corrupted Wisp that we just made. So we can just say when it spawns Wisps, instead spawn Corrupted Wisps. And this is directly editing, like exactly inside of the actual Warcraft 3 game. Same with ETOL, right? We can do NCTL, Uncorrupted Tree of Life, and we can just directly replace the Tree of Life with the Corrupted Tree of Life, right? Which is way more straightforward than trying to have something crazy in your triggers. So we do that with Corrupted Night Elf. Now the other thing that you want to do is get melee key ally structure, or is it get key melee ally structure? Okay, key structure. Melee get ally key structure count. I always forget the name on this one. This is the one that says you will be revealed to the other players unless you build a whatever. Basically, you can go in here and you can say instead of Necropolis, just put Corrupted Tree of Life in here, or whatever your unit is. If you're using a custom unit ID, we could add one of those too. You know, let's say I want to make like a custom building off of the Great Hall, right? In that case, 000, you should be able to then also add to here custom underscore 000 and basically get that just custom underscore and the ID, and that'll just work. So what we're doing here is we're just literally appending to the list of things that prevent the player from being revealed, so our new custom guy prevents the player from being revealed. So that's nice. And we've created a function to actually create our units, but the next question, of course, is the function melee starting units. And this is actually the, okay, well there's sub-functions, units, human, night elf, undead, whatever. But this function, melee starting units, this function says, if your race is human, give you the human units. If your race is orc, give you the orc units. If your race is undead, give you the undead units. If your race is night elf, give you the night elf units. You can just put an if statement in here. It says if get player handicap of index player, right? So basically you can say if their handicap is like less than or equal to 90. So basically if the player chooses the handicap setting, then they get a different race. So if you're at 90% handicap, then you instead get melee starting units Corrupt Night Elf from our previous function that we created. And the other key that you want to do is probably call set player handicap. Set player handicap of index player back up to 100, right? So that way you don't have to worry about any of that. Yes, so this should effectively, like if you choose a 90% handicap, spawn in Corrupted Night Elf units. Now the weird key here, right, is I'm editing game files. I'm not editing a trigger. So what are we going to do with these game files? Well, we're just going to import them in our map. Now, you know, at first you'd think, well, maybe that's a little weird, but that actually works perfectly, I'm pretty sure. So it worked perfectly the last time I did it. We'll see if it still does. Worked in 127 and 128 and 129 and 130 or whatever. So we're just hoping that this is going to work here. So let's just try it. Obviously, what we're looking for first off is that the game will just start and nothing will be wrong. And then we'll see from there. Okay, it looks like you guys see the game and I don't. I gotta close some full screeny things here. Get the game up. Oh no, I see the game and you don't. Okay, 1 second. I just gotta get... here we go. This is what we wanted. Okay. So we're in the game. You can see I'm a humans. Everything looks fine. Except for that little menu thing up there. I don't know. I didn't do that. That's nothing to do with what we're looking at. So the key is, if I just go to single player here, custom game. And it's just some junk. Let's see. Let me just scroll up here to Altered Melee, TC13 Typhoon. So now the key here is if I pick the Night Elf, let's watch this. If I pick the Night Elf when I start the game, right, we're going to get the Night Elves. But if I click Night Elf 90%, we get Corrupted Night Elf. Oh, I messed it up. Wait, I messed it up. Okay, so I got the Corrupted Night Elves. I'm not getting revealed to my opponents, right? So that much is good. And if I could do like Who's Your Daddy, we might be able to know what would happen if this thing died. So that's the other thing we want to be able to do is like kill it, see if we lose, right? But it does seem to be the case that there's a bug in our code. So I mean, obviously, you know, if that happens, you just go in there and you fix it. My first thought is that the handicap value is probably like I often make this mistake. It's probably 0.9 instead of 90, right? So let's just try that. That's probably going to just fix it here, right? It's been a little bit for me, so it's easy for me to make that little mistake there. But generally, these things are supposed to be pretty straightforward. So we do that. Let's go ahead and test the game just to get into the game. It's faster. My icon of the game on the taskbar is busted and doesn't launch the game. So we launch the game. Humans are working fine. Let's try the Night Elves. And our goal is we're going to try the normal Night Elves first, and then we're going to try the corrupted Night Elves. Right? So here we are. So if I choose Night Elf at 100% handicap, I'm supposed to still be the Night Elves. And then my goal is if I put 90% handicap, I'll get the corrupted Night Elves. So that looks like that's working. Like here I'm the Night Elves. So now let's try the corrupted Night Elves. And one of the key things that we want to see here, this is really important. If I give me a random hero, and so I'm Night Elf, but I'm 90%, which means I'm corrupted Night Elf. But we should go back up to 100% handicap, and we should see that happen. We'll see here. Yeah.
I am vigilant.
Okay, so I'm corrupted Night Elf, but I still have 1,500 hit points. You can see it canceled out the handicap. Handicap then is just interacting with the game as a quick way when you're starting the mission to choose corrupted Night Elf versus normal Night Elf.
We must act.
But the other thing we want to do here is we want to be able to knock this tree down.
To strike.
And when I knock this tree down, if I have a corrupted Moonwell, it should say that I'm going to be revealed to my opponents, but that I don't lose. Right? So I don't think you can't who's your daddy yourself. I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. Although, you know, it's kind of funny to try.
We must act.
I wonder if I could buy more units over here, maybe at this tavern with some kind of cheats. That ought to be good. It probably requires an altar. We'll have to try synergy. I'm not even sure if synergy applies to those. So we'll see here in a moment, once that's destroyed. Oh, even if I had synergy, they're on delay. Okay. There's a mercenary camp. There we go. We got Who's Your Daddy in a mercenary camp. This is going to help us tear down the building faster. Come on, Corrupted Wisp. Get over there. Get over there. It's going to be good. I'm just trying to make totally sure. If I go over here and okay, yeah, give me the turtle. That's a good start. There we go. We got Who's Your Daddy on, right? So it's just a straightforward win. Okay, great. I'm just trying to get something to help me take this tree down. The other thing I need to do, I should give it, you know, when it's uprooted, you lose fortified armor. That'll help a lot. Do some damage. So the key thing here, and what I really want to highlight, let me turn off the game sound and music. What I really want to highlight here is that in this quick video, I did not use any custom race template. I did not use any system. I used the game itself, right? And what I did is I extracted out, that's why we downloaded Retro Model Studio. I extracted out of the game itself the game's own code for when you get revealed or don't get revealed, or when you lose and when you win. And we modified the game's own code. And we modified the game's own creation of starting units to create my custom starting units. And this, to me, has always been the most straightforward solution. Because as you can see, when this corrupted custom Tree of Life dies, it says you'll be revealed to your opponents unless you build a Tree of Life, right? That whole dialogue is entirely... Okay, I need a little bit of money here. That whole dialogue, you know, all that stuff is canceled out. You're no longer in danger of being revealed to your opponents when I build a custom corrupted Tree of Life. And this is not at all a custom trigger, right? This map has no triggers. Like if I go up here and I close that out, this map has no triggers, fundamentally, right? All I did is I changed the game's own internal functions and then imported them into the map. And this has worked on every version of the entire game I've ever played. I changed the game's own functions and put them in the map, and then that causes it so that within that map you have this additional 5th race available, and the additional 5th race prevents you from being revealed. To me, that's much, much more natural than the stuff that other people do that becomes very, very complicated very quickly. Regarding trying to make a custom race and setting up all these events that maybe you have a pop-up dialogue or you click something, or when the game starts you replace the units because you're feeling out of control. For me, all of that was always superfluous and unnecessary when I could do this. With that being the case, there is another thing that some people have commented on. Maybe it was something I had previously posted that someone might have linked to. In one of these custom race systems, I advocated for this same idea that I was just saying, but I advocated it for in a little bit different way that's useful for more advanced users. So to a very advanced user, what I just showed you has a problem. And that problem is that you have to import a 400 kilobyte file into the map to change the game's internal function. That's not much of an issue, but if you're very, very tight on space for models, 400 kilobytes just to override some game function is wasteful if you're aware of all parts of the entire system. So if you desire to omit that waste and do something even more complicated, there is a custom system that I uploaded that, here we go. I think it's this map right here, if the map is maybe included. Yeah, this Deadlock custom race map on this how to create a full working custom race that was uploaded by me, Redera. What it does, let's download it. What it does is exactly what we just did, but it tried to make it user-friendly and it tried to make it more compressed. So in order to avoid this 400 kilobytes, you can actually dump that same code into the map script file here. So this looks like a lot of junk, but the reason this looks like a lot of junk is that I not only edited the game's original code, but I dumped it into the trigger editor instead of importing it as just replacing the game's internal system. So when you do it this way, you get a bunch of trigger junk, right? And the trigger junk here, in terms of file space used, is a lot less than 400 kilobytes, right? It's a lot less file space, so it's a little bit more optimal. And I put in here a reveal warning, so you can actually change what the reveal warning would be that you would see when you're playing this in game. And then I gave this very straightforward example where instead of call init victory defeat or whatever the action is, use a custom script and say melee init victory defeat customized. But this isn't different from what I just did, right? So this isn't, I mean, some people would say this is a system or a template. For me, this is just suggesting to you to rip off the game's own system and upgrade it to do what you need. And then I just dumped it into this map, and so it's only the relevant portions. I changed the function names and some things like that so that they would be standalone in a map. The other thing that this system does that's slightly more complicated is this key ally structure count. And I made this and I've uploaded it in a hurry. So there's a bunch of these double slash comments are not code. They don't do anything, right? So if you look at what this code is actually doing, this particular, you could call it a system. It's just a ripoff of the game's internal thing. I replaced what we changed where it lists the 4 names, right? It used to list Town Hall, Tree of Life, Necropolis, and Great Hall. It used to list the 4 of them out by name. Instead of doing that, I made a function count living player town halls, which enumerates across the map anything that is unit type town hall in the object editor. So it's a different solution to get the same effect, and this is a more general case solution if you care about that. But as you just saw, you can get to a very, very good solution by just typing in corrupted tree of life or whatever, as I had done there. So someone asked me if I could post a link to my system for doing this correctly, and my system is honestly to have no system at all and just use what's in the game itself. That's where, you could say this map is a system. I elaborated on it a little bit at the time for people a couple of years ago when I uploaded this map, but generally you can see in this video we just created the entire air quote system by literally just modifying the game itself. So that's my recommendation to anyone who wants to make a custom race. I hope this has been straightforward and useful. Obviously, I'm just another player playing the game, and everything falls down to personal preference. If you want to have a system where when you click things or click some kind of pop-ups or these other things that you interact with the units that are already there and change based on what was already created, you can always do that too. But this is just what was always, to me, the most straightforward way to make a custom race, because it tries to be as close to what the game was already doing as possible.